Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, friends and colleagues from across the world. Today we have a special treat for you on our Podinar series. One of the world's most sought aesthetic experts in the profession of dentistry, Dr. Christian Coachman. Welcome to our Podinar session, Dr. Coachman.
Great pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. Always an honor to share with colleagues. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
We appreciate your time and your contribution. Dr. Coachman, are you currently in Brazil or in the United States?
I'm in Madrid, Spain.
Oh, you're in Spain. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you. I know your time is quite a bit of different where we are. Well, before we get started with the podcast portion of our Podinar, where we get to know you, so our colleagues and friends have a better intimate relationship with what you have done for the profession of dentistry, I'd like to start a little bit with your bio. You're well known for combining your advanced skills, your experiences, leveraging technology for the digital smile designs. You have treated tens of thousands of patients and have trained thousands of dentists worldwide for this program. I'm actually very fond of this program because it makes a lot of sense. In 2014, you were selected by Doctors Goldstein, Garber, and Salama of the Atlanta team to become the head ceramist. You're also a CDT, Certified Dental Technician. You went to work with many of the leading clinicians around the world, Van Doren in Belgium, Gurel in Turkey, Fredenili, Pichacho, who actually spoke on this platform about a month ago. He holds the record of viewership with us at 145,000 in one day. Great clinician. We love his cases. In 2015, you were voted the top of the most influential people in dentistry by UK Dentistry magazine. I personally have followed your career for many years, and I've seen countless awards from associations and organizations in the profession of dentistry. 2016, he was the most searched dentist on Google. That doesn't come as a surprise. In 2017, he became an adjunct professor at the University of Pennsylvania School of Dental Medicine. In 2018, became coordinator of the Digital Dentistry postgraduate program at the University of Avantes in Balneário Camboriú in Brazil. In 2018, he was in the top 19 of the most influential people in the dentistry by Incisal Edge magazine. And he's a member of the Brazilian, European, American Academies of Aesthetic Dentistry, becoming the only dentist to have been invited to membership of these three prestigious organizations. And has also been given awards and recognitions. Wow, what a career you have had, Dr. Coachman.
Thank you for the introduction. That was a very nice introduction. Thanks for the summary. Yeah, it has been a journey, an adventure so far, an exciting adventure. So I'm happy to share some insights over here.
So you started in dental school. How did you become interested in ceramics and aesthetics when you were actually studying the conventional shooting gold into castings and all of those things?
Yeah, I started dental school in '94, and as I entered dental school and was kind of bored with the whole process and was not feeling like that was a profession for myself, my father gave me the suggestion to run in parallel the dental technology course, become a technician, because I always liked to work with my hands, and because that was the way he started also as a technician for my grandfather before he became a dentist. And my grandfather also, before becoming a dentist, worked as a technician as well. So that was kind of a tradition, and I enjoyed the idea. So on the second year of dental school, I did the dental technology school as well. In Brazil, we have this possibility of doing them in parallel. And starting on the third year, I was already working as a technician. And during the end of the dental school, I was working to my father and other doctors. And when I finished dental school, I decided that I actually wanted to stay working as a technician, even though I was a doctor. So I kept both doors open, and I continued to work as a technician even after dental school.
Wow. So I always have great admiration for doctors that pursue other venues, the ones that become accountants and lawyers, and bring other perspectives to the industry. So it all started in 1848 with Dr. John Case that went to Ohio Dental School. That's your family line, right? You're a sixth generation, if I understand.
Yeah, that's something also that we are very honored. 6 generations of dentists nonstop. So the first one is exactly John Keyes, my great grandfather, graduated in 1850. So actually, this year we complete 170 years of dentistry.
Wow, that's in your blood, it seems, in your genes.
Yeah. Like a genetic disease.
So it's mostly happened in the U.S. and Brazil, most of your training, and also your ancestors that have been dentists. The same scenario, correct?
The first and the second generation were from U.S. The second generation moved to Brazil in 1868, and then stayed in Brazil. So me, my father, my grandfather, and my great grandfather are all Brazilians, all dentists, but Brazilians. I went to University of São Paulo Dental School here, so my whole training was in São Paulo, Brazil. Yeah.
Amazing. So at some point in your career, advancing the industry, you were sitting there and you're looking at technology. I've always wondered how you came up with the concept. You're sitting there, you're doing the cases, you're taking the alginates, doing the diagnostic wax ups, and then coming with something mounted to the patient, which wasn't ineffective. It was very costly for doctors to do the mock-ups, the vertical raises, the smile designs. And then you said to yourself, why don't we use technology to do this for us? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, in 2004, that's when I left Brazil. That's when the Team Atlanta invited me to US. Because I was a technician, that was the only reason why I could move to US. Even though I was a doctor, I went to US to work as a technician, and that allowed me to connect to the world and start working with the European doctors you mentioned as well. So I became kind of a gypsy technician, traveling around and working with these doctors, staying a few weeks here and there. And of course, amazing learning experience. The main lesson was for me that even though I was working with some of the best, and I could consider myself a pretty good technician, we still had limitations. We still made mistakes. We still had to redo things, adjust. So I was always a very questioning person. I was never satisfied with the status quo, and it was not about technology at all. I was never into technology. I was on the other way. I was a handmade technician, classic technician, loved working with my hands. But what I wanted was to be more efficient. I wanted to work a little bit less and make a little bit more money. I wanted to work with less stress. I wanted to be more predictable. I wanted to improve communication. I wanted to create more value for my patients. So all of these things, I started to realize that were things that had a lot of room for improvement. And that's when I started to try to think on better ways, to communicate with the patient, to communicate with the team of specialists. How could I, as a technician, doing a diagnostic wax up at the beginning of the journey, how could I make this wax up become more powerful? How could I make the team follow the wax up? How could we convince the patient to buy that wax up, right? So these are all the fundamentals of the DSD philosophy today that I learned because of this work as a technician and dentist, understanding the limitations and being critical about my own work and saying, I want to do better, I want to be more efficient.
So you have a famous quote, and this quote probably summarizes a lot of the things that you're doing. The emotional reaction of patients is priceless. So the idea behind this innovation is that your chairside, you're able to show them what their final results could eventually look like, which creates an instant gratification of what they're possibly looking at, their ability to be able to change things in their design, as well as to immediately make a case presentation and sell it, which would naturally bring the revenues up of a doctor tremendously, make patients a lot happier. So that quote sums it up. And I agree with you, is nothing more rewarding than when the patients see either what they would be looking like or get the final results. How do you connect the bridge from going from the time that they see what they could look like to the time that the delivery is? Is this pretty consistent in your experience?
Yes, the you know, the first of all, you know, the fact that we really try to create value towards the patient. This is the main goal of the whole strategy that we developed. You know, we didn't invent mock-ups. We didn't invent smile simulations. You know, I remember my father on the early 90s buying a system that could simulate smiles. And I remember doctors doing mock-ups since ever, you know. The thing that I believe that I started to really tackle and try to improve and evolve was the fact that people were doing smile simulations or doing mock-ups and always approaching it with from the technical perspective, from the rational perspective, right? And what we develop is what we call emotional dentistry, meaning understanding human behavior, understanding psychology, understanding how to create the momentum, how to build the story, how to become the best storyteller of the amazing things that you can do, how to make the patient value that even before the treatment starts, you know, delight the patient, exceed expectations, change the perception about dentistry, change the priorities, put dentistry where dentistry belongs, you know, where dentistry deserves, and make people transform clients into fans, transform patients into promoters. And this is as we say, it's an emotional game. It's an emotional journey. So yes, we need to be technical. Yes, we need to be scientific. Yes, we need to be great clinicians. But the real value comes when we understand how to translate that. So this is one of the core pillars of DSD, and that's what we call the emotional dentistry part of the DSD methodology, the DSD concept. Now, besides that, once the patient is on board, the patient is valuing, the patient understood, and it's not only understand the smile design, it's not only understand the project, it's understand the whole treatment. So it's how can you become a better treatment plan presenter? How can you explain things in a way that the patient really understands? And when the patient is shaking their heads and saying, yes, I understand, 99% of the time they don't understand. So I really understood from working with all these great dentists that most of the time dentists are talking to patients. Patients didn't really understood what the doctor was saying from the bottom of their heart, meaning I need to change all my priorities and I need to invest on this. This is the meaning of really understanding something. So becoming a great treatment plan presenter, transforming treatment plan presentations into great storylines, utilizing communication skills to make people understand why they need to do this before they do anything else. And as soon as they buy the treatment, they accept the treatment, they are completely not only accepting the treatment, they're extremely excited about accepting that possibility. Then comes the second challenge, and that's what you said, translating that project into reality. That brings us to the second part of DSD that is related to clinical execution, guided dentistry, digital quality control. How can modern dentistry help simulations become reality? And utilizing the technology on the right way, we can be much more precise than we used to be. And I can compare with the way I used to work in the past, you know, doing handmade diagnostic wax-ups and being frustrated with the fact that at the end of the treatment, the final outcome could be beautiful or not, but was completely different than the wax-up. So dentistry still today is something that is too unpredictable. You know, we are on the 21st century. We have so many new solutions, and most of the dentists, even the good ones, are not understanding that this is making so much sense for patients, and we can use solutions not Not because you cannot do in the analog way, not because you cannot do the old way. It's because we can be even better, even more efficient, you know. And above all, we can have such an amazing new story to tell our patients when we simulate ortho in 3D, and we can tell the patient that our final ortho will be very similar to what we simulated. When we simulate the combination of crown lengthening, ortho, opening the vertical dimension, implants, tabletops, and veneers, and we simulate all these things in 3D before we even touch the patient, and once they approve that project through technology, we can create devices and guides and stents and a bunch of new ways of performing things and guiding our hands and guiding the team of specialists to perform in the mouth things that will generate outcomes that are more similar to what we simulated and we presented to the patient at the beginning. So we are really closing the gap between what we present to the patient at the beginning and what we deliver at the end. And the only way to do that is by using 3D technology.
It's fascinating. Just thinking about the legal perspective of things, having all of these documentations and having patient approvals, and then not having to send your wax ups or your try-ins or your crowns, your final crowns 100 times back to the lab because the patient, there are picky patients, want some corner change on a crown because they didn't think it would look that way. So it's, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. I've been following your work for many years. I think it's brilliant. I understand you're also integrating the software in the second segment of what you were talking about in the implementation with some very, very heavy hitters like Invisalign and others. Is that correct?
Yeah. So this is what we call copy-paste dentistry. That's the revolution for me, one of the revolutions that we are helping and pushing to happen in dentistry. Copy-paste dentistry means that with 3D technology, we can overlap files, calibrate files, and develop treatments and devices that can actually respect the project. We can finally become real architects of the smile, develop a blueprint, and deliver results that are similar than the blueprint. Of course, it's never going to be identical because biology is different than mathematics, but by using technology, it's very clear and the patients can see the value that we are really putting efforts to do things in a guided way, in a control way. And because of these philosophies and these solutions, of course, big companies are approaching and many new exciting collaborations are happening, like the one we are developing with the line by integrating the DSD principles with ClinCheck, integrating digital orthodontics and Invisalign with facially driven treatment planning, with interdisciplinary dentistry, with smile design. How can you do a 3D smile design and then manufacture aligners that can move the teeth into the smile design that you developed previously? You know, that's the future of dentistry for sure.
There's so much you can do with that. You can create guides, have the osseointegration for your implants going on while you're moving teeth and what have you, versus the conventional ways. You're a very loved clinicians. I've had about 108 high-profile speakers thus far in the last 2 months with us. And I can just tell you, in the first 18 minutes, your this interview has been shared almost 300 times. So you're really leading a revolution in the dental business. Is something very proud of, to be proud of, and I really appreciate what you do for the industry. And I hope that you can keep up with the ever changing environment. Every week or month, there's a new technology. Somebody's doing something. I'm seeing that you're integrating and being involved with those bigger companies. But let's step into the shoe of the new guy that is savvy with the manual dexterity, but is not so savvy with the computer. Mm-hmm. What does your program and your teaching institute? Are there so many functions? Is it complicated? Is it easy? You have to go to an entire residency to be able to learn it. Please tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, when people approach me and talk to me, usually they really want to understand the technological part. But DSD, it's not about technology. Technology is a detail, is a tool. DSD is about a philosophy that we can use even without technology. Uh, you know, we can divide DSD in 5 very simple pillars. Design, plan, present, perform, and promote. Design. The principles are facial analysis and facial-driven smile design. All you need is an iPhone picture of your patient's face and spend a few minutes recording a video of the dynamics of the lip and the face. Put some energy on the face. Look at the face and understand how to draw, even freehand on a piece of paper, how to draw lines that are facial-driven to understand what is off and what is right and where teeth and gum belong into the face. That's pillar number 1. And you can do this by improving the way you communicate, you and your team and your lab, about the patient's face. Just start doing facial pictures, start doing facial videos, and share with your technician. It's simple as that. Still today, majority of cases walking into labs come without the right information, and dentists are asking technicians to be smile designers without giving them the basic information about the face to make smiles in harmony with faces. So it's
well, the real truth of the matter, Christian, is we just send it to the lab and hope they make us look good. But it doesn't always happen that way.
So we developed a very simple protocol of how to document the face, how to analyze the face, and how to create guidelines that shows you where teeth belong in the face. Now, you can do this drawing with a pencil. You can do this on Keynote PowerPoint. You can do this on our DSD app. You can do this on fancy softwares. It doesn't really matter. You just have to do it. The second part of DSD is after designing where you want to be, is to planning how to get there. Very obvious. First, you design where you want to be. Second, reverse engineer the treatment plan. Plan how to get there. And yes, 3D technology is making a revolution in diagnosis and treatment planning. And I believe that even if you don't want to do digital dentistry, on the execution part, don't miss the opportunity to use technology to see better, screen better, identify what is wrong, diagnose better, and treatment plan better. Technology can help you become a better treatment planner. Now, you don't need to buy technology and you don't need to learn technology. You need to be a great dentist, and you need to look at the information that 3D experts, and nowadays many companies, many labs have the technology to get the information from your patient and do all the workup to give you back that information, so you can look at the information and say, this is the problem and this is the solution. So dentists blame the fact that technology is expensive and technology is hard to learn, when the fact is that you don't need to learn and you don't need to invest. All you need is to learn how to interpret the information that technology is showing you by looking at the screen and saying, this patient needs ortho. This patient needs to open the vertical dimension. This patient has an airway problem. This patient doesn't need 6 veneers. This patient needs crown lengthening, ortho, and 6 veneers. So it's all about being a great diagnostician and a great treatment planner, and using technology to help your eyes to see better and your brain to process better what are the possible solutions for that. So this is we cannot blame the learning curve and the investment, because it's not on the dentist. You outsource everything and you get what you need, and you become a better dentist by taking advantage of technology, not suffering with technology.
Well, I've seen you actually in your videos that you actually take a patient into a prep room and actually pull up the smile and a big screen. I have 2 questions for you while I have 6 minutes before we start your presentation. One, my question would be, how much time would you invest if a patient came in and said, hey, I want to redesign my smile, whatever the treatment plan may be, with implants, ortho, veneers, what have you. How long does that take you to work it up and actually outsource it and get it back and bring the patient back? What is the process like?
Yeah, this is the what we call the first-second appointment dynamics. It's the core of the key moment to increase case acceptance, increase our average ticket price, and increase our fees. So we can increase our fees. On top of that, increase case acceptance with higher fees, and increase our average ticket by offering more comprehensive treatment. So the three things can happen if the dentist understands that is not about the execution. It's about how we present what we may execute later. So on the first and the second appointment, we have a very, very important structure and workflow, and that's one of the things that we teach on our DSD courses about. As soon as the patient steps into our office and gives us the honor of their time, how can we wow them over and over and over again, all the way to the moment when we show them the estimate, when we show them this is what you need and this is how much it's going to cost. So we need to create so much perceived value that people will understand why we charge what we charge, that is fair, and that is the best for them, because the education, the motivation, and the emotional link with the project is so strong. So
yeah, a couple of big cases, 10 veneer, 20 veneer cases, patients coming in. And, I was trying to get a mock-up for them, and they said, oh, I went into another office. They mocked everything up in front of me and then sort of lost those cases. So that's something else that our colleagues should be aware of, that people talk. And when they come into your office and see you milling a CEREC machine and it's exciting and they look at it, they go tell, a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. And same with this, the reason I'm very interested in this particular software is because if we don't catch up with times, all of the greatest innovations and the biggest companies from 20, 30 years ago, they're no longer in the top 10 list or in the top 500 list. They become obsolete. And our systems and our mechanisms, when patients want it, at some point, we're going to have problems looking like the dinosaurs when we can't present these options to them. Let me ask you, is this available worldwide? Because our audience is from just about every continent and every country.
We serve dentists from all over the world, 5 continents, completely spread. The reach is everywhere. So from Australia to India to whole Europe, Africa, South America, US, Canada, Russia, everywhere. We nowadays everything is virtual. People sending us the cases. We do the whole workup. We help the dentists improve the process of diagnosis, smile design, treatment planning, and case acceptance. And then once the case is accepted, we provide, of course, the manufacturing of all the devices. It's a full service lab with guided surgery, guided crown lengthening, guided orthodontics, restorative, CAD/CAM restorations, full implant arches, everything.
You will be seeing me in one of your courses. And dear colleagues, I highly recommend that you look into this particular product. He's the first one that came up with it and actually launched it. And there's some concepts out there, but nothing as elaborate. And today we're going to be looking at your presentation as a simple format DSD concept, digital smile design. Thank you so much for the first 30 minutes and informing us what you do and where you're from. And with that said, Doc, you're going to have the floor. I'm going to switch over to your presentation. And hopefully you can let us know how to get started, where, what the concept is, and get the audience a little bit more informed for those that don't know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
And I will catch you back again in 30, 40 minutes for the Q&A.
Perfect. Let me play the presentation here. Can you see it?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. So yeah, we have just a few more minutes here. So I'm just going to try to summarize a little introduction to the topic and how we believe modern dental offices should be seeing the future ahead of us and really differentiating them from the competition, So when people ask me, what is DSD? It's just a bunch of strategies to succeed. Some people think that DSD is a software. Some people think DSD is a marketing strategy. Some people think that DSD is a mock-up. It's a bunch of drawings. It's a communication tool. Is you know, it's just for veneers. It's this or that. Since DSD became a known, worldwide known brand itself, of course, people are having these ideas about what is DSD. But if I could summarize, why DSD was developed, the main reason why we create the solutions that we create, I could summarize with this slide. What is DSD? DSD is a bunch of strategies to transform your real value into perceived value by your clients and possible clients. How can you, from A to Z, understand the journey that patients go through from not knowing you at all the way to becoming a fan and a promoter? And how can you make patients perceive value through this journey? So basically, that's DSD, translating your real value into perceived value and making people understand that they need to be with you. And we can summarize, how the ways that we can make people value us, and not only in dentistry, but in life in general. Specifically in dentistry, the traditional way of making people value us is to be a good clinician. If you are a good clinician, slowly, year after year, you're going to grow your reputation. Once in a while, some people will be impressed. Once in a while, some people will talk about you. And that's how my grandfather built his reputation, and my father built his reputation, through solid word of mouth that takes a lot of time and effort. Now, we understand that in modern business, depend on word of mouth is very dangerous, because it's something we cannot control, and it's something that is hard to grow. And I believe that every good dentist deserves a credit that the society in general is not giving. Dentistry is underrated by people. People have a poor perception. People have a negative perception. People don't want to go to dentists. People don't like to go to dentists. So we need to really understand that this is much more about psychology than about clinical work. And we need to understand, how can we make people value the fact that we invested so much energy to become a good clinician? So beyond becoming a good clinician, because that's mandatory, that's not an option, being a good clinician is just an obligation. So beyond that, we need to become a better presenter of our skills. We need to create and learn how to create value online, on social events, when we meet people in the streets, when we talk about what we do in casual conversations. How can we change people's perception about what we do? Change the physical experience once they step into our offices and give the honor of their time. How can, since people don't like to go to the dentist, everything that reminds people from dentistry moves people away from us? So how can we change completely the experience? Create a different experience, physical and emotional experience, when people come to our office, at least on the initial appointments, where we are gathering information and trying to sell a solution. Incorporating technology. It's not only about incorporating technology, it's about making people value the fact that you incorporated technology. Transforming the way you communicate with patients and present your plans. This is one of the most important things. Become a Steve Jobs of your treatment plans. How can you present things in a way that people really enjoy listening to it, that really make people change their priorities and put that plan as a priority in their lives? How can we become more efficient clinically, more predictable, and more convenient with the things we do, because that as well create an amazing emotional impact on our patient? How can we diversify our offerings, become a more holistic care provider, focus on things that people really value, like prevention and systemic health and well-being, and new treatment trends that modern consumers are understanding are also as important as just having a fake, cute, beautiful smile and that's it. So This is all part of a journey. This is all part of a strategy. This is all part of a new way of telling a new story for people to really value what we do. People out there don't know us. So people out there are constantly asking, why do I need a dentist? And if I have a dentist, should I change my dentist? Should I look for a better dentist? So if we know how to send the right message, we can convert millions of people in our area into the second layer, meaning that people will realize, wow, dentistry can be more important to me than I expected. Maybe I should invest on this, but maybe this guy is too expensive for me. Then we need to understand how to move people to the third group, when they say, okay, I'm going to do it with this guy because I realize that's what I need and I see some value over here. This person is doing the treatment, accepting the treatment, but is not a fan yet, maybe. And we need to understand how to transform this possible client into a fan. And then how to transform a fan into a promoter. So from I don't even know you to I definitely want to promote you and put my name, endorse you with my reputation and my name, and tell my friends, you should go to my dentist because this dentist is amazing. So this is for me the key to succeed in the next 5 to 10 years in dentistry. And the most dangerous place to be in dentistry today is in your comfort zone. And the more success we obtain until yesterday, the more we are tending to stay in our comfort zone. Everything that brought us successfully to yesterday is not going to guarantee our success starting tomorrow. So we believe as dental office owners that we need to start understanding what means succeeding the next 10 years. Where do we want to really be in the next 5 to 10 years as dental office owners? So for me, the key is very simple. We need to change the perception. We need to learn how to exceed expectations. We need to make people change their priorities. We need to create value, period. The goals are obvious, right? We want to grow. We want to increase profits. We want, of course, to sell ethical dentistry, to deliver great clinical work, because that is the most important. But beyond that, we want to grow as a business owner, as an office owner. And, to allow us to grow, we need to understand how to have more patients, happier patients, increase case acceptance, higher fees, higher average ticket price. And to make this magic happen, we need one very magical thing, that is regain the excitement. And one of the key factors of everything that we teach is how to make all these new trends revigorate ourselves as dentists. Give us 10, 20 more years of pure excitement, looking at all the new possibilities and saying, this is amazing. I'm so glad that I'm a dentist. This is the best moment in history to be a dentist. This is the kind of excitement that we need to feel when we learn all these new trends. We also talk about the 3 games that we need to master, and the 3 moments that we need to master. First moment is how to make people find us. Before they come to you, they need to find you. And there's a couple of things that we can do here to succeed. The second moment is once they find us, how do we make them to accept the treatment? Because that's a big gap there between coming to us and accepting the full suggestion and the full price that we are giving. So that's the second game that we need to master. That's the second challenging moment that we need to overcome. And then there's the third moment that is actually the treatment. How can we make the treatment itself become such an exciting and motivational experience that clients become loyal fans and promoters of our work? Pick the right topics to talk about, tell great stories about what you and your team do, reach out to more people, understand the channels, grow the channels, spread the word. Then change the way you gather information, you process information, and you present information. Change the experience completely. And then improve the way you perform in a way that the patient can see and feel the benefits of the way you perform. It's really an emotional game. That's why we call it the emotional game, because you're constantly gaining and losing credits as we move into this journey with the patient. So it's really a strategy that we've been working since 10 years on understanding human behavior, the decision-making process, that in life it's all about choices, that major decisions in life are emotionally driven. And we need to understand how to connect emotionally with people, stay relevant, be more competitive, be corporate, or survive beyond that, increase your value, prepare your exit strategy, and grow. You know, if I was working, every time I work with the dental office, trying to help them with these topics, advising or consulting, we need to improve lead generation, grow average ticket, understand the importance of everything we do before case acceptance, change the treatment experience, mainly through new technologies and new treatment opportunities, improve efficiency through better systems, meaning doing better in less time in a more comfortable way with better recovery, make patients become loyal fans, and improve word of mouth as well, marketing and word of mouth. So these are mainly the things that we talk about in our courses. And when we talk about DSD, we believe that dentistry is going through such a paradigm shift nowadays, and we need to understand how dentistry is changing, how important it is to change, or how dangerous it is not to change. And that's the most important point. It's not about I'm going to change because it's cool. No, it's how dangerous it is for me to keep doing things the way I always did. And then once we are convinced that we need to move, that we need to change, and hopefully the best moment to change is actually before you need to change. When you are really doing well, this is when you need to start saying to yourself and asking yourself, how can I continue to be one step ahead? And then ask yourself, how do I do that? How do I change? How do I implement? How do I bring my staff on board? How do I empower my staff? How do I make my staff own this evolution, own this process? And because of that, my patients will understand that it's not only about me, it's an amazing staff, it's an amazing team that is taking care of me. So based on all these principles, when people ask me, what is DSD? Like you asked me, I can explain this by dividing the explanation in two. We can talk about what is DSD, the methodology, and nowadays, what is DSD, the company? At the beginning, there was only the methodology, me traveling the world and lecturing about these ideas. Since 6 years, we started a company because of one simple reason. I was giving lectures about these ideas. People were getting very excited about it. And after a while, very few people were actually taking advantage of these ideas. So I realized that was not about only the course, was about after the course, was about implementation, was about post-course support. People going back to their offices and making this magic happen was too difficult. So that's when the ideas became a company, a set of products and services to help dentists become more efficient and more different, utilizing technologies and communication strategies. So this is basically a DSD. How to use technology and communication systems to be more efficient and differentiate yourself, taking advantage of full digital systems, transforming your beautiful real value that you deserve into perceived value in the minds of your possible clients. And that's when we divide this journey into 5 pillars, 5 groups of strategies: design, plan, present, perform, and promote, as I mentioned before. So if people coming to our courses, they will learn all these strategies on these 5 topics, and then they can go back home and buy the technology, convince their labs, work with their teams, hire a marketing agency, partner up with the digital lab, and make the magic happen. Or these dentists can start working with us and understand how to work with the interdisciplinary comprehensive planning center, a consultancy support, a digital lab, and a digital marketing marketing agency that understands these trends. And this is basically how we support dentists after the DSD courses that we give, right? So basically, this is how I can briefly explain what is DSD and how we've been helping dentists to make this magic happen in their offices. Differentiation, better care, digital dentistry solution, marketing strategies, helping the dentists empower their team, smart investments, reduce the learning curve. Basically, that's the intro that I wanted to share. I don't know if you guys want me to explain something better, answer some questions.
All right, doctor. Thank you so much for this amazing presentation. Let me go ahead and get back in here with you. Doc, that was wonderful. Great idea to get started. Some questions that we have had, I'd like to see if we can get a little response from you. What is the investment for an office to start using the software and ultimately branding it to their patients?
Okay, so hopefully, if
let me bring that back in. There you go.
So just hopefully to make that clear, everything I just talked is not a software, right? It's the software. When people talk about the software, probably they are talking about the DSD app Smile Design software. The DSD app Smile Design software, it's a piece of the whole journey, right? So we use softwares to design and simulate smiles on the first appointment. We use this software to connect the design to the lab, to translate 2D into 3D, to produce smile test drive, a mock-up, and then export this project into CAD/CAM to manufacture restorations, for example. Is this the DSD app? That's the DSD app. That's the software that probably is what the person is asking. And the cost of the software, I believe, is $800 per year, unlimited cases, I think.
Unlimited cases. That's very reasonable. And I presume you work. Are you only working on a dollar system for all of the doctors around the world, or is it actually to the local currencies?
It's in US is dollar, but everywhere else, since we are based in Madrid, most of the prices, for example, in the website, etc., are in euros. But everything has, depending on where, if you log into our platform, depending on your address, the prices will be calibrated, right? Will be transformed.
So another question I got here, what would you say to a doctor, what the first step would be to get started?
I believe a very, very good first step is to join our online education, since our next in-person course will only happen in October, I believe, in Miami and in Madrid. But I believe that the online, we've been investing a lot on online education with a completely different way of doing online education, and so that can be a very good first step, getting more in depth into these strategies. Another great first step is to pick a case where you see that your patient, maybe that's the best first step for Monday morning. You pick a case where you see that your patient deserves a better smile, and you get in touch with us and say, I want to test this case. How do I start? And we're going to grab you by the hand and step by step drive you through the process of modern documentation, cloud communication, facial-driven smile design, comprehensive treatment planning, patient presentation, emotional dentistry, motivational mock-up, case acceptance, execution, step-by-step. If the patient needs ortho, how do you do a smile ortho guided by smile design? If the patient needs implants, how do you do implants guided by smile design? If the patient needs to open the vertical, if the patient needs tabletops, if the patient needs crown lengthening, combination of all the above, veneers, crowns, full arch, all on 4, whatever your patient needs, we're going to guide you through the step-by-step, provide you with all the devices to perform from A to Z a full digital, a real fully digital case.
I see. Excellent. I'm looking actually right now, trying to see if we can bring that into the stream. The digitalsmiledesign.com. It's all single units. Digitalsmiledesign.com, and then at the front page you'll be able to see the upcoming courses, the online series, the residencies. How are you affected with all of these residencies and these big events that I've seen you hold currently with COVID?
We are actually impressed with the way online education is growing. So, of course, that we canceled all our in-person courses for March, April, May. Yeah, for 4 months, we had to cancel. So, for a company that is partially depending on in-person courses, we had to reinvent ourselves very fast. Of course, thank God we were already investing on a very cool online platform, and that just grew. We actually did our first in-person course last week, and the course was sold out here in Madrid. So we were very happy to see people coming back and doing the in-person course last week. We have a second half of the year very busy with online and in-person courses. And of course, we have everything else going. We have the DSD Planning Center. We have the DSD Lab, both in a very good note, I believe. Also impressed with the way dentistry recovered worldwide in general. You know, after coming out most of the countries from the lockdown, dentists are fully busy sending us cases. So we are back to normal on that matter as well, and the clinics that are part of our DSD clinic network with our consultancy and marketing strategies are also going full power. So everything is going pretty well.
It's lovely. DST is not only COVID virus proof, but also just general computer viruses proof. I highly recommend you guys visit again Digital Smile Designs. Dr. Coachman, what is your what would you have done differently in your career if there was anything? Anything that you can think of?
You know, I really, and this may sound a little cliche, but that's exactly the way I live and I believe. You know, I totally believe that everything happens for a reason, for real. Like, even when the worst things happens, I really believe that's it. That's what needed to happen, you know. So honestly speaking, I don't really regret about anything. Of course, that as we
You've done a lot of the right things. I'm trying to get like the one thing that
I did many mistakes. Huh? I made many mistakes, and I still make mistakes, and it's just part of the journey, you know.
Yeah, for the younger guy that's now listening to you, with your experience of the past 2 decades, what would your recommendation be? What route would you tell him? For me, it's very clear message. Everything is going digital. You can't avoid this. What would you tell that young doctor?
Become a great clinician. Become a great clinician. Don't focus on marketing. Don't focus on digital before you are a great clinician. And to become a great clinician, the best is to find a great mentor. That's the shortcut to success. Find great mentors and learn how to show value to the great mentors, so the great mentors will pick you and bring you under their wings. That's the shortcut to success. Now, once you get the mentors, you have the path, you have the vision, you experience good quality dentistry, you become a great clinician. Now, as a great clinician, it's very easy to then understand how to market yourself, how to use digital, how to incorporate these technologies, how to associate yourself with these modern companies that can provide you with these services and these solutions.
That's very good advice. Yes, you can always avoid a lot of expense and headaches when we find better mentors for ourselves. With that said, Doctor, how can people reach you, or if they want to talk to the company, who should they contact?
Well, I strongly invite everybody to visit our website, digitalsmiledesign.com. Digitalsmiledesign.com has a lot of content. We are a content machine generators. We work day and night generating content, sharing content, transforming complex into simple, teaching, learning, sharing, creating communities, and making people enjoy the journey, the path, understanding, simplifying the concepts, and the website has a lot of free content there. So explore the website, explore our social media. Chris Coachman on Instagram. That's the best way to contact me. Chris Coachman on Instagram. Inbox, send me a message. We share lectures and webinars on Instagram as well, on Facebook, Digital Smile Design and Christian Coachman. Everywhere there's a lot of information. And then if you want to get a little bit further into the topic and really master these ideas, I strongly recommend you to explore the DSD online education platform. That you can find the link on the same website.
Wow. Digital Smile Design is all about executing with precision, and we have executed this podium with precision because we're still under 1 hour for 2 more minutes. So I kind of want to close this. And I really thank you on behalf of our colleagues for taking the time to come on board today and inform our vast colleagues across the world that are sitting at home, that are still battling with COVID and don't have the ability, the finances, or the access to be able to have this discussion with you on such an intimate basis. We all thank you for your time, Dr. Coachman, and we hope to have you again in the future on our platform.
Great pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks everybody for listening. I really hope the best for everybody in tough moments and in a tough time that we are all passing. I really believe that dentistry proved to be such an amazing profession that is coming out of this mess even stronger, showing to everybody how vital we are, how essential we are, how important we are, and how prepared for this new normal we are. So stay safe, stay strong, and believe whatever is coming ahead of us is for the best.
Namaste. Thank you so much. I couldn't agree more. Have a wonderful day, doctor. Talk to you soon.
You too. Bye-bye.